it's Fifi Dobbs.
Hey, we're the Plain White Tees.
Hey, it's Ariana.
My name is Andrew. I play with Comeback Kid.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and Spencer, this is the Hidden Beats podcast.
Hi guys, welcome back to the third episode of the Hidden Beats podcast. Today, none of the boys wanted to come up from Ottawa, so we're in Montreal at my studio with Marie Demeire.
Demeire. There you
go. You may know her online as Marie Goes to Shows on Instagram. She's another concert photographer based here in Montreal. And yeah, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, sounds good. So yeah, Marie, living in Montreal, but born in France. I've been in Montreal for about 13 years now. I started doing concert photography in 2017. So it's been, 8 years, I think? Time flies. Wow. Yeah, do a bit of everything. Mostly listen. I'm a pop girly at heart, but I like to shoot a bit of everything. It's fun. Mostly do publication-based work. Then a couple artists, gig and corporate gigs here and there, but that's me.
So last night, me and Marie got to shoot my favorite band of all time, Sum 41, in Laval, which is just the island over from, or the city over from Montreal. And I thought it was a fantastic concert, musically and photography-wise. Minus the banding. There was so much banding.
The banding was bad. Yeah.
I have a lot of good shots that are completely ruined because of banding, and I'm going to try and fix them. I don't know how, but I'm going to try my best to fix them somehow.
Yeah, it's heavy work. It's like Photoshop and like line by line you go and you kind of try, but we were talking about this, I think, with Jesse last night, that the person that invents the like technology to get rid of banding and like the AI software or whatever, like, take my money, please. Because like it's those cheap LED lights now, they're like everywhere.
Yeah. And
they cause the bending. It's like, it's such a pain. It's, we have a company.
We also have another guest. His name is Spooky Boy. You can pick him up. He'll love it.
He jumped. He was like, hi, see me on the camera.
See, this is Spooky Boy. He's our third co-host today.
Exactly. Strong opinions about bending.
Yeah, really. And food.
But yeah, that was fun. Sum 41, I love a show that has all the pyro and all the stops. Yeah. It's like the shows where you come out of there be like, oh my god, what just happened? Like they're the fun ones. It's like my neck hurts this morning from like getting hit repeatedly in the head by the crowd surfers, and you're like,
and by some water.
And by some water also. Flying cup of unidentified. I'm hoping it's water. I'm telling myself it's water, but some liquid fell on me halfway through and drenched me. But it was fun. That's the shows. It's like the show where nothing happens is not the one that you're gonna talk about for like years and years. So it was a good like farewell tour. I mean, until they get back together, but I feel like it was a good way to like wrap it up.
All those bands always come back. Blink-182, they came back. Even with the old vocalist after they replaced them with a new vocalist.
Yeah, exactly. It's like once the checks run out and they need more money, they come back. Like
exactly.
The amount of goodbye tours I've done that they've come back, it's like, it's for sure.
Yeah, especially those old like classic heavy metal bands like Motley Crue, Kiss, I think that's the
they're done now, but they've already said goodbye 4 years ago, and now they came back. I shot that last year, I think it was like last fall, and now I think they're done. But I think they're coming back as like avatars or something, so they're now like, they're still...
There's also the mini Kiss tour, and it's little people dressed as Kiss and going on tour. Yeah,
interesting.
It's a thing.
That was fun. That was which, I mean, if they wear the same shoes as they do, it's like they're regular people at that point.
Yeah,
exactly. On the crazy platforms. Like, I love it. Fun. Nice.
Yeah, I haven't shot... I shot Judas Priest. That was the biggest, like, classic heavy metal band that I shot. And that was really cool.
I get declined every time, but for Judas Priest, I don't know why.
What?
Like, last time y'all got it, and I was like, okay, I'll stay at home then.
Did anybody for Canadian Beats do it?
Maybe. I think that was my hypothesis. That happens often. Like, will be a bunch of people who apply to the show, and like Sum 41. Like, I was the third one to get it. Like, they got in Vancouver, they got in Calgary, and I was the last one to get in Montreal. That was like there's no way they're gonna approve 3 of us, and they did.
They approved us too.
That's-
We didn't do Vancouver because we apparently we applied to the wrong person.
Whoops.
That's why we missed that one. And then we did Winnipeg and
Well, Ottawa.
Ottawa. That was the other one. Yeah, Ottawa. We did Winnipeg, Ottawa. I don't think we're doing Toronto. I don't know how strong our team in Toronto City is right now. But
Toronto's hard. Toronto's hard to get. Like, there's so many people.
yeah.
Like, I know so I work mostly with Canadian Beats. That's the Beats. We got something in common. I know, like, a bunch of people in Toronto, and already within the media, it's hard. And then outside, there's so many medias. That's like, often I know my editor will apply in Montreal and in Toronto, because, like, my odds of getting the show here, like, that much higher for, like, the same tour versus
Wow.
Toronto, where there's, because it's Live Nation, right? Whereas here it's Evenco. It's a bit different. It's a bit easier. There's less people applying. So,
Yeah.
for sure, like, I think we have it good here. Like, it's fairly easy. Once you work at it, build a relationship with them, like, it's fairly easy to, like, get into
Yeah.
a good show. So that's the nice part.
Yeah, we had to do. We talked last night about it. We last summer we had to do a test. Tom had to go to Oshiega, and he got 1 day, and we actually got denied at first. And Tom went in and kind of gave it a little fuss and was like, "Why?" And he fixed up our whole website to be like the proper like structure, so that Eventco will accept us. And now there's very few Eventco shows that I do get denied from, which is great.
Yeah, and that's still, like, also for you guys within, like, a fairly short time, because you've been, like, here for, like, how long doing shows? Like, not...
Me, since my first show in Montreal was in July.
Yes, that's really good, because
Yeah.
for me, when I started, it's like 7-8 years ago, it's like I get a show every 6 months or something. I'd be like, yay, a show, and it's
No.
and they'd be really quiet, and it's like it took time to, like, just for them to, like, know who you are, build their relationship, know you're trustworthy, that you're not gonna, like, fuck around,
Yeah.
and, like, and then eventually, and now, I mean, lately it's been different. Lately it's been getting stricter at find shows. Like, I'm getting denied a lot more than I was, say, like, last year or the year before. But yeah, when you keep working at it here, it's like, that's the nice thing versus, I mean, maybe Live Nation's the same. Like, I haven't worked with Live Nation enough to know, but it's like, yeah, if you keep on showing up, being professional, being nice, it's like, there's no reason that's not working out.
Yeah, exactly. Like we're giving them free publicity for for Eventco. So like there's unless we do something, there's no real reason to not let us be there.
Yeah. And ultimately, like, it's also not, like, they're the facilitator, right? But it's, like, it's the artist teams that pick. Like, they just submit the list and be like, except for, like, the festivals is different, but the shows, it's like, they're like, hey, you have 15 people that apply. Who do you want? It's like, it's not like they're the messenger ultimately. Like, there's only so much. Of course, if they don't like you and you're blacklisted, it's like you're not making it to that list. But like in more cases than not, it's like they're passing out the names, I think, and it's just artists are like, we'll take the first 10 or we'll take the first 5 or something. Yeah. Ultimately, it's final artist team is like the final say for sure.
Wow.
Yeah.
So Marie is the only person that I know that got approved to shoot on the Eras tour with Taylor Swift.
Yes.
How was that?
I think it's still the most, like, surreal and pinching myself. Like, I have prints everywhere in my apartment to, like, understand that truly happened. But, because the way it happened was also just completely insane. So, I've been a fan for, like, years and years. Like, soundtrack of my teenage years, you know, it's like, and when she announced the Eras tour at first in Canada, I was like, okay, let me put my name down for Toronto. We'll see if I get to shoot it. Try to get tickets. Forget about it.
Yeah.
Impossible. And then, so it was in June, I planned a vacation to go home and in France to go see my parents. And not even that on my radar until, like, maybe a month before that. I was like, oh, wait a minute. She's playing, like, not far, 3 hours from my parents' house when I'm there. Let me see if I can get tickets. And then tickets, impossible, because the resale laws in France are, like, really strict, so StubHub is not a thing. It's like you only get resale when they open it up on Ticketmaster. It has to be face value. It's like a whole, which is great. I wish we had this year, like anti-scalping. So I couldn't get tickets. So I'm like, you know what? I've been doing this for long enough. This is what I try and cash in a favor. So found her publicist contact. I had a bunch of friends who had shot it in the US, so I had, like, a bunch of, like, tips and tricks on how to, like, reach out and like reach out to our publicist with the sole intention of getting a ticket. I was just like, that was my thing. And I was like, okay, if I'm writing to her, I might as well try to get a photo pass. And so it's not a publication that I work with often, but that I work with sometimes here, and they're in French. Their content is all in French. So because it's a show in France, I was like, let me leverage them. See if they were up for it, obviously. Yeah. Like a shot of covering that tour, sure. But it's a smaller media too. So I was like, we'll send her a quick email, like, hey, I'm working with this Francophone media, would love to come, like, cover and shoot, but that was like 2.5 weeks out or something. It was a bit last minute.
Wow.
So, and I don't hear back. So I'm like, okay, whatever. Probably not going to work out. So, and then in the meantime, like, resale opens up, the official resale. Yeah. So I snatched tickets for both nights. Face value at prices that compared to North America, it cost me nothing to go, which was amazing. So I was like, okay, I'm going one night. I'm going to go both nights. Might as well. So I planned this. It's still far enough for my parents. They have to like plan the train, plan the hotel, whatever. So everything's booked. Everything's planned. The show's on the weekend. It's like Wednesday, I think. I go for a little drive with my mom. We're like, I'm on vacation, enjoying. And I get an email saying, yeah, cool, we can accommodate a photo pass and 2 tickets. And I'm like, are you? Oh,
that's okay.
Oh, I have to drop the guitar. But basically, yeah, like, are you fucking kidding me? Like, how is this happening right now? Unreal. Full-on mental breakdown, crying. My mom be like, it's just Taylor Swift. Calm down. Like, you don't get it. You don't get it. Like, it's, so, yeah, absolutely insane. Didn't have any gear. Because I traveled, but my mom's a photographer. So I was like, Mom, can I use your gear? And so I used all of her stuff. So luckily she does nature. So she had an OSR. She had she had this lens now. I don't remember, 100, 400? Something like that. Like a big, nice lens. So like Lamy monopod, everything. Like same backpack as me. So I was like, okay, a Canon, thank God. And it's like, because I shoot Canon. So went with all of the gear that like bring a stepping stool because it was not pit, it was not front of house, it was kind of in between. And like bring a stepping stool, the stage is really tall. I didn't have mine, so I brought my parents like painting step ladder, like Renault splatter with paint on the train with me to Lyon to like go. And it was just surreal because it's such a production. And I'd done a stadium before. I'd done Metallica, the Olympic Stadium like a while back. Yeah. But that was my second stadium and just the atmosphere in there is like absolutely crazy. I fully blacked out during those 3 songs. I blacked out, left the pit, be like, oh, my cheeks are like a little wet. And to the like escort, I was like, if you saw me crying, no, you didn't. I'm better than this. But it was everything that I've worked for, really. It's like, and after this, I'm like, it's gonna be hard to be that excited about something for a while. But yeah, it was like amazing, dream come true. Went back the night after for fun, and then I got on a whim to go back to see her in Toronto. Got a last minute ticket that was very expensive, but still for fun. So I got to see the Aerostar 3 times, but yeah, then getting to shoot it was like out of this world experience. If you had told me when I started in 2017, like bringing my little camera to like little shows, like, hey, one day you're gonna get to shoot the tour of the decade, I've been like, yeah, right, like come again. So yeah, insane experience. I think it's gonna be hard to ever top that. And even just last year in general, we were talking about this yesterday, like the calendar of shows that are coming. That's like, there's some nice shows within the next 6 months, but like looking at last year was like Taylor Swift. And for me, like especially in pops, like Taylor Swift, Olivia Rodrigo, Sabrina Carpenter, Chaperona Doshiaga, Benson Boone, Noah Kahan. So it was such a like packed year with great shows that this year I'm having a hard time for now getting excited. I think once the Oshiaga lineup drops and things like that, I'll be excited again. To see this. But yeah, I think it's like, it's hard because it's a bit quieter right now, which I don't know if it has to do with the election or
January
whatever.
Has been very dead.
Yeah, and even the 6 month ahead, it's like there's a couple of big shows. I'm like, okay, this will be fun, that will be fun, but it's not to the level of last year. It was like a great show, another great show, another great show. So I think that'll be interesting, but. Yeah, for me in general, to be in that state that I was in that pit, it's going to take a lot.
Yeah, 100%.
I don't know if it'll ever happen again, but I'm so glad it did. It was iconic.
If there was an artist that could top it, any artist alive, who would it be?
I think there's a couple. I think Harry Styles I really, really like, and I've seen him live and same. Like the energy shows are like so good. They keep on denying me, but the Jonas Brothers would be awesome. More than that, like I grew up with their
Didn't
music.
they come here last year?
They came here last year. I went to go see them with a point and shoot, and I think that one actually I didn't apply because I had really good tickets, and I was like, I might as well just enjoy my like third row seats and point and shoot versus running around the gear. But I tried them at FEC in Quebec City. They denied me, so I was like, okay, well I'm not. That's fine. You know, I'll get to it one day. And I think more on like a legendary level, like Rolling Stones, like bands like that, I think would still be like, oh my god, like the icons, like the Elton John. I mean, you know, he's retired now, but like Elton John, Sir Paul McCartney, like I think bands like that, it would still get me in that mind state. So there's still things on the bucket list, but you know, that's pretty good already for me. I'm happy.
I think shooting Sum 41 was my first actual bucket list shoot, which was nice.
Nice.
I shot Snoop Dogg, but
yes.
he like wasn't on my bucket list, but like he kind of was put on my bucket list when I found out I was gonna shoot him because it's Snoop Dogg and like
he was fun. That was a good.
It was a really good show. Yeah.
Good show. For me, I think the one that not shocked me, but like amused me the most is like I've done a lot of bus centers, like I've seen it all, but that one when we walked from like the little like desk media area where we wait into the venue and backstage the immediate like smell of weed that was like I'd never seen it to that level like that. Like we're walking up the stairs, we're not even backstage yet, and it was like, okay, this is a Snoop Dogg show. Like they've been at it. I think someone at security was like, yeah, it's been like this since like 2 p.m. It's like the whole place reeked, and I thought that was fucking hilarious and so on brand for him. Like so good.
I think he pays the fee in every venue that he goes in because it's like
it's illegal.
Yeah. I think it's like a $50,000 like fine or like charge or whatever.
Yeah.
But like he just pays. He can afford it. Like
clearly,
like he's making probably $400,000 on one show, so he can throw out $50,000 to
be able to
smoke
in.
And like that means everybody can smoke. Yeah. Because it's for the whole
obviously
venue.
If you work with Snoop Dogg, like you're not like you smoke too. Like it's like for sure. Like I think the entourage, like it's not just him. Like for it to smell that much, like it must have been 100 people smoking in there. It's like one joint would not have like embalmed the whole place the way it did.
He's smoking blunt after blunt.
Yeah, for sure. But that was a fun one for sure.
Did you do Ice Cube?
No, I didn't get approved. So those. It's like it's bizarre. It's like the approvals. Like there's no rhyme or reason to it, and you can't like at first like I used to get like, oh my god, why didn't I get approved? What is it wrong with me? And then eventually you're like, weird, okay, let it go. It's like because if you let FOMO get to you on this, it's like you're never gonna be at peace. Like there's so many shows, and sometimes like it just doesn't make sense the way you're declined. But that looked fun. That seemed like it would have been a fun show.
It was weird. I think I might have talked about it on our last podcast, but it was like if you searched on an AI engine an Ice Cube concert, it was like that. Like, it was like he had blow up hands doing the West Coast symbol. But like the way I have videos on my cell phone, and it's just like the way he was moving was like robotic.
Well, he's very like angry always, right? It's kind of like that, like I don't know.
But it looked fake. Like it looked like not like not acting, but it looked like somebody was controlling him. It was super weird. And like when I showed up, I was supposed to be approved because it wasn't in Halifax. It was in Truro, Nova Scotia, which is an hour outside of Halifax. It's like a small town. It's like having a concert in Blaisdell.
Okay.
Like just stupid random city. And sorry, Truro. And and they like they have a hockey arena, so they like filled the hockey arena. But I showed up and I went with another photographer from Halifax, and she got her approval. Like she got her a ticket for the pit and stuff. And I showed up and the guy talked to me and he was like, "Yeah, we don't have an approval for you, but here's a ticket. You can shoot from the crowd." Oh. And I was like, "Okay, I guess that's fine." And I shot from like. There was like seats right. It was a very small hockey arena, so like I was pretty close, and I was shooting with a 200. Yeah. So it was fine, but it was just kind of it was a whole weird situation. It was they started 45 minutes late. Like there was just a DJ playing.
Oh, that's classic. That's classic hip hop. Yeah.
It was so stupid, but it was fine. Everything turned out fine in the end, but
that's hip hop for you. Like I listen to quite a bit of hip hop. I really like it. The shows now, I have to like refrain myself from like requesting them unless it's like legend level of like Snoop or like Tyler the Creator. I'm really excited about in April, but like those random little rappers in like hip hop, I'm like, I'm not doing them anymore. They're always late, like super late, and it's just the crowds. The crowds make me so uneasy at those shows, especially the younger ones.
They all have the same curly haircut with the side shave.
It's all the little white boys.
Yeah.
And they push each other, they shove, they mosh, but not in like a fun like, oh, you're moshing like metal, someone falls picking up. It's like they're violent.
Yeah.
Like it's one of the worst like memories I have was my first Oshiega. This must have been 2018 or 19, I think. Travis Scott was headlining. I did not shoot Travis Scott because he was so late. First, like he showed up, it's like Oshiega history that he showed up like I think an hour late or something like that. God. And he was the last act of the night. And I remember and I'd done the whole weekend at this point, or like at least 2 nights, and like I was shooting from the crowd. I didn't have pit access at the time. And it was the old side where you had the stages facing each other. So on the side of the stages, you had pretty much nothing. It was little pockets, but same. If you had like a 200 or 300, very easy to shoot. No one around you. Like, chill. Like I'd done the night before. It was very good. But then as the like night progressed and we got closer, it's like those little, usually chill, empty pockets, crowds and crowds and crowds.
They push.
And it was like kids that must have been like 16 years old, like shoving you. It's like, and you have all your gear like visibly, and it's like they're pushing you on purpose. And I was like, fuck this. I'm not enjoying myself. I'm not risking my safety. I'm getting the fuck out. And I know by the time I made it home, he still hadn't gone on stage.
Oh my god.
And I was like, and that was the Astro World release show. It was like the first show. And then like a year or two after Astro World happened. And I was like, like horrible, super sad, awful. I'm not surprised, unfortunately. So yeah, those hip hop crowds, like every time I shoot a hip hop show now, if it's not a rapper that like I really love and really want to shoot, I'm like, why am I here? Like it's so dangerous, it's so sketchy.
Yeah.
The crowds are bad, it's late, it's like, so that's the one now that I have to like refrain myself from like applying. I'm like, that could be fun, it won't be fun. Like just don't do it. It's
I shot a French rapper named Bushy a couple months ago at Studio TD. And as soon as I came out of the pit, the crowd pushed the barrier into the pit like 3 feet.
At least you had a pit, because Studio TD, there's no pit.
I've heard that, but I've shot there 3 times. Once was for the band D-Side, which is like it was like a black metal show.
Okay.
And then the second time was Bushy, and the third time was Joel. I just said that in French. I'm not even French. Joel Plaskett. And Joel Plaskett, there was no pit.
Yeah.
And Classified, there was no pit. Classified's recent show. But Bushy and Decide, there was a pit. It's very small, and you're like, the stage is here, and you're here, and you're very close.
Yeah. I think they're starting, I've heard actually they got a pit. I think they're starting to put it depending on the show, and also I haven't shot there in ages, because I'm like, I don't like pushing through the crowd.
No.
It's like, I'm too tall. It's like, someone's like small and tiny and can like sneak their way in and be like very discreet is great. It's like, I'm like, people are like, if I stand in front of them, like, get the fuck out of here. Which, fair, you paid to go see a show. You don't want me in your way. I get it. But yeah, like, it's brutal for sure.
Yeah, there's 2 venues that I avoid in Montreal, and it's Fairmont and Foufs.
I've never shot at Foufs somehow. It still hasn't happened, and I get asked, and I'm like, do I really have to? Like, I've gone to like the bar, like just going out back in the day, but shooting there, and then Fairmount is like my special kind of hell. Like it's a nice venue. If it's empty, it's fun, but if it's sold out, it's
ridiculous. I 2 summers ago or something like that, I shot Fit for an Autopsy and Acacia Strain, and Escula Grind was there. And during the opener, it was a local Montreal band, Desecrate.
Okay. And
I had my camera up to my face, and I got spin kicked in the lens into my face.
No.
And since then, I have said I will never shoot there again. Just, it's, I like to feel safe, especially when I have thousands of dollars worth of gear on me.
Yeah.
And and the hardcore scene is just. I shot at Flips 2 nights ago.
Okay.
I went to Montreal Madhouse, and a band from Ottawa called Skullgate. Ryan actually hooked me up with them to shoot their set. But there's the stage, then there's a little platform for kind of the vocalist to stand on and walk around, and then there's just a pit of people spin kicking and punching, and like it's not moshing, it's just violence. And they vent about being like against like anti-violence and everything, but then they'll spin kick a stranger in the face because they can't control their emotions during breakdown. I'm sorry, but it's
but it's true, and it's still, that's the thing, it's like different genres and like lanes when you get into like those style of music where it's like there's the fun and happy moshing, and then there's like violence.
It gets to a little too much. I didn't take any useful photos that night. Like I formatted my card when I got to Sum 41 last night, and I was like, I'm not going to use any of this. It's not even worth keeping.
Yeah, exactly. When trying to salvage and edit, you're like,
no,
cut your losses. Yeah,
it's not even worth it. Even like me trying to get video, and then during the Skullgate set, a guy jumped off the stage and held me like this and just swung back and like choked me, and I'm just like, I'm done.
No,
fuck this.
Not worth it.
Not
worth it. For sure. Yeah.
It's not worth it whatsoever to even try to enjoy that.
Yeah. No, I get that. That's why now it's like I feel like it's fun when you start. And when you start, you're like shoot as much as you can. Try above everything. But now it's like I've got enough years under my belt. I'm like, there's no pit. I'm likely not showing up, or I'm not going to be happy about it. It's like, even like MTELUS, it'll happen sometimes, like rarely Vanco shows, like they're pretty on top of it, but like the random promoter, or like the ones in a blue moon, especially like Quebec artists, it's like where you'll ask, like, is there a pit? So I can plan accordingly, and they're like, yeah, all good. And you show up there, and they're like, either the pit's like pushed against the stage, or it's only on the corners, and it's like, I don't want to do this.
Yeah.
It's like, I feel like you get picky with time, and safety for me is like the biggest. It's safety, and it's also just having the right conditions to work, because we're here to like do a job at the end of the day, and it's like if you have to like fight your way through a crowd, it's like it's not fun.
And most of the time we aren't getting paid.
Yeah.
So like
like
we want to do the best job for the publication that we work for, because we're dedicated to a publication. Like we work for them.
Yeah.
But at the same time, you have to put your safety into sense, because you're not being paid. No one's paying for your gear if it breaks besides you.
Yeah, exactly. Get insurance, kids. That's the biggest tip I can give you. But
exactly.
It's like you're literally not paid enough for this shit. Like, you're not paid at all. So for sure.
Even real tour photographers, likely, I don't think they get paid enough for what they do.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think that's the thing in general now with concerts. That's like, especially with iPhones and with like everyone and their mother being able to do it. Like it's hard to make a living out of it. I think there's a couple positions I think where it's possible and you have to like hustle a lot, but to like live exclusively out of concert photography, like it's hard. Like there's not many people, and with the waves of like I'll do it for free to like people that can pay, like artists and things like that, like that's where it gets, because like publications I think is a bit different when it's the passion project where no one's getting paid, no one's making money out of it, everyone's volunteering, fun, I think that's a bit more, at least in my eyes, it's more acceptable. But it's like when it's artists that don't have budgets or festival teams that'll try to squeeze it out of you, it's like it's not worth it.
Yeah, 100%. So what gear do you use? I know you're a Canon girl, but...
Yeah, I'm a Canon girl. I've gone through many cameras over the years. So right now I'm in this like half weird model where I have two bodies. Mm-hmm. I've had two bodies for like a few years now. Love it. Not having to change lenses in the pit is just a godsend. So my main body is Canon R6. And then I have a Canon 5D Mark IV. So I'm half mirrorless, half DSLR. I like that too because, I mean, obviously the R6 and the mirrorless and everything that goes with it, like eye tracking, like quieter shutter, like everything that goes, like just the quality of the image is like that much. You fuck up less shots, basically. I think is the biggest point out of it. But that one in particular, I find like resolution is good. I don't remember exactly how many. It's like 20 megapixels or something.
Yeah.
It's like, it's fine. It's not amazing. Whereas the 5D Mark IV is like 35 or something.
Yeah, it's something
like that.
crazy.
It's high, so you can crop like a shit ton and you're good. So I kind of like having the balance of the two. Eventually I want to get an R5, but money, just, priorities. It's like that's the thing. I made a mistake when I got my 5D Mark IV. It must have been two years, something like that, I think. I should have held off and waited, but I wanted full frame. That was my first full frame. I was like, I got a very good deal on it used. So in hindsight, I probably should have waited and got into mirrorless, but it's still a great camera. I'm going to wait till it goes and then we'll think about it. And in terms of lenses, I mean, it's the very standards like 1635 2.8, 2470 2.8, 7200 2.8, and then the more exceptional cases, but the 100 400, which is a 4556, something like that. F-stop, which is right. More for like the soundboard arena. Sometimes festivals that bring out Gilsonique. It's really nice, even in the pit, to get those like DJ close-ups. So it's more of a summer lens. I don't really use it. My
150 to 600 is not used besides the summer, and I'm actually sad about it because that was my first brand new lens, and I just want to use it. And the last thing I used it on was a hawk in my backyard.
I saw those. Those were great.
Yeah,
those were amazing.
It was really sick.
It's really nice. Yeah. I feel like there was a wave where there were a lot of Bell Center shows that were soundboard, and in that case, it's super handy. But yeah, like same, I haven't used it a lot. Like, I mean, I used it a lot this summer because my 7200 died at Oshiega. Water, don't know, because I had a case. It's still very weird what happened with it, but the focus fucked up. So I had to send it in, but I still had Ilsonique and Lasso and a bunch of shows to use. So I used the 100 400 for all of those. Which, like, when you're in the pit, like, it gives really close-ups, but it did the job. It was fine. But that's pretty much everything I used. Before that, I've used a 7D for a couple of years, which was nice. And then I started with two different cameras. So I had for years a 200D, which is like a Rebel SL2 or something.
Yeah.
And then before that, I had a 50D for a little bit. That was my mom's that she gave me to like try it out. But gear isn't everything, I find. Like, I had my shitty little Rebel for like...
It's how you use it.
It's how you use it. And I find actually that it's fun to like have a shittier camera for like a few years. Because I had, my Rebel I had from like 2017 until probably 2020, I think. Like the first 3 years or something I used that. And I find it teaches you to like push the camera to the max, focus on other things like what composition and emotion and getting that framing right and playing and editing, like sometimes getting a bit more creative with your edit, because this is all before denoise and all that stuff that would make it much easier now. But I just find it makes you stronger as a photographer, because now it's like once you get the R6, it just makes your life easier, but you know how to do everything else, which is sometimes like people will get self-conscious about their gear, or like they'll want switch and splurge right away. Like, I know a couple of people that are beginners and they bought the like R5 Mark II, and it's like, do you even know like what's going on in the settings? Like, learn a basic camera first and then build up on it, and that just makes you that much stronger as a photographer.
But
the EOS R, I shot the EOS Tour with an EOS R.
Oh, that's what your mom's has.
What my mom has. Now she's like upgraded. She got the R7, I think, or something, but that's what I had. And obviously between the R and the R6, there's a couple of things. Like the high-speed shutter could be a bit higher. I think the battery lasts a little bit. But globally, it's like, I'm fucking proud of my EOS Tour shots. You know, it's like,
exactly.
Would it have been easier with my own camera in terms of like changing setting? And I fucked with her settings a lot to get them to like match my camera as much as possible. But it's like, obviously you're more comfortable where you're used to, but it's a great camera. They're great fucking shots. I got them printed in like 24x36 prints, you know, and it's like
100%.
The resolution there. So it's like, people will be like snobs about their gear, but honestly, it's like, it makes your life easier. The good the good specs will make it easier for you to not have to worry about the technical like aspect of things, so you can focus on emotion composition. But at the end of the day, it doesn't matter.
Exactly.
It really doesn't.
I actually just switched to this in June. I was doing a work term for school, and the person I was doing the work term with had an EOS R. And at the time, I had two 60 Mark IIs.
Okay.
And I had just bought one with my student loan in January of last year. And the guy was like, yeah, it's perfect. There's like, I don't know, like 20,000 on the shutter. And it broke within like a week and a half, like something. I got an error or something. I had the money, luckily, because of my student loan to send it away, but it was like a $500 fix.
Yeah.
After spending $800 on the camera.
Yeah. Sometimes you just cut your losses and get something new.
So as soon as it came back, I went to Henry's from one side of the counter to the other side and traded both my cameras for this one.
Yeah.
And this one has treated me amazing. I have no complaints. Again, the battery, but that's some mirrorless cameras compared to DSLRs.
Yeah.
They are like this one's, I think a battery is like 700, 800 pictures. Like that's what they say.
Yeah.
But then on a DSLR, like on my 60 Mark II, it was like 3,000 on a battery or something. It's like a crazy difference.
Which it makes sense because with the like display like always on like the electronic viewfinder and all of that, that's like it's gonna drain on like constant looking for focus or whatever. Like it's gonna drain the battery a lot more.
Yeah,
than
exactly.
DSLR. And with what we do, it's like in 3 songs, your battery's not gonna die. Like it's so.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, it's like just buy a couple extras, buy a couple generic, and like that's fine. It's,
exactly.
I think I always have 6 batteries in my bag at any given time.
That's crazy.
Like
I own 2 batteries and that's it.
I've accumulated them over the years. I will say when I've like bought cameras because the R6 and 5D are the same batteries.
Okay.
So of like over the years, like friends being like, "Hey, like someone left this. Do you want it?" Or like things like that. And recently, when my 7200 died, it was fairly new. It's like 3 years old or something. So I like flipped out because I bought it new. So I flipped out to Canada. I was like, not normal, blah, blah.
Yeah.
So to appease me, they sent me a battery, which I was like, I will take it because they're expensive.
That's nice.
So that's how I've built a little arsenal of batteries. But it's for sure, it's good to have always.
Yeah, that's wicked. My biggest scare was shooting the festivals this year, especially like Il Sonic, where I'm going to 3 different stages and just constantly shooting. And I don't even know what to shoot at some points because it's DJs. They just bounce their heads up and down at the DJ booth.
Yeah.
The most exciting photos that I got from Il Sonic this year were of the guy at the end from Africa.
Gims.
Gims, yeah.
French. Yeah.
And that was cool. They had fire and stuff.
Yeah.
He was the only actual like performer, like singer.
Yeah.
And he was a replacement, wasn't he?
No. He was on the lineup from the get go.
Okay. Yeah. I thought somebody dropped and he was the replacement.
No. He was. I know Idris Elba dropped. I don't remember who replaced him. That was a DJ, but no, he was on the lineup.
Okay.
Because he's like huge in France. I've like been following him. I remember from the beginning. I was like, yes, nice.
Okay.
Love to shoot him. But Il Sonic back in the day used to have on one of the days the secondary stage used to be a hip hop stage. It was only rappers. So I've seen Bad Bunny on the small
that's
stage.
Crazy.
What's his name? It's not Lil Peep. It's
Lil Pump.
Lil Peep. Maybe it's Lil Pump. Lil
Pump.
Yeah, I've seen him. I've seen a couple like that. And it's like I remember there was one year where I didn't do Il Sonic because I caught COVID at Oshie, I guess. So I sent friends to replace me, and it was I think French Montana's and Sean Paul maybe so.
Sick.
They used to have it. Now it looks like the past 2 years. I think it's been purely EDM, but that was fun. That was because I'm not a big EDM fan.
Me neither.
Some veins of John Summit's headlining this year. He's fun. I like him. It's more mainstream, verging on pop, commercial EDM.
Yeah.
So I like that a lot more than say a dubstep, not my vibe.
The people that just are banging their heads.
Exactly.
I can't do that. Even when I don't party anymore, but even when I did party, I wasn't that party crazy.
Not that kind of music.
I like to go to a pub and have a beer, not go to a club and just bang my head to.
Yeah, especially that kind of music. It's even the chain smokers of the world and whatever. That's fun. I could see myself doing that when I was more of a student.
Yeah.
But yeah, I agree. And yeah, I think Il Sonic what's fun is the crowds. Like the crowds are always dressed super fun.
It's all about the crowd shots.
And then the like just the pyrotechnics and like getting the wide and the stage with like fireworks and confetti and whatever. Like that's really the fun part. Because the music after a while is just like a blend of like one long day of techno. You don't know who's who. And they're all little heads behind a desk. That's like you're not getting much variety out of it with having only like pit access is like irrelevant there because the stage is like so high. But unless you have all access stage, like that's where you can get some like fun portraits and nice stuff.
You had that this year, didn't you?
No. I had one gig because basically I worked with the Canadians at El Sonic, where I followed UP around.
Oh, their mascot.
Exactly, the mascot goes to all the festivals, and usually, it's one of my good friends is the photographer for the Canadians, so he hooked me up and just followed him around, and he happened to go on stage, and I went on stage with him, so it was like and that was my first time on stage at a festival, and because it was like 2 p.m, the difference in light is so drastic that the photos, they're not good. It's the sky is white, it's all like over, and because you have like 30 seconds to get the shot, and I was like, I don't know what I'm doing. It's like,
you're used to shooting in the dark.
Exactly. So those photos are not the best. They get the job done and they carry the idea, but so that was the only time I've been on stage at any of those. But it was fun. It was a good day, and but I'm excited for John Summit because I shot him. I think it was in the fall. I think it was in September that he came to the Olympic Stadium, and it poured the whole time. Like I've never seen that much rain. And it was outdoors, so I shot him under the rain. Like, and the photos are sick. They're like some of my favorite because you have like so much like halo effect and like little drops, and like it looked really cool, but it was so painful. Like the moment I got on site, my socks were wet, and I was just and that's bad. If your socks are wet, you're gonna have a bad time, you know. Was
it like on the side where the no effects stages were last?
I think it was on that side. Yeah. It's like where you have the stadium behind the stage.
Yeah.
I think the effects might be on the other side of the stadium.
Yeah. Like the soccer stadium was behind the stage.
Okay, so that's the other behind, but it's more where the Esplanade is.
Okay.
So you have the stadium as backdrop. And it's super fun, and like the vibes people were there to like there were two crowds, the like over prepared like ponchos and everything, or the denials of like tank tops and shorts even though it's pouring, so like if we're gonna be wet, might as well be wet. So that was fun seeing the crowd, but I think there were 3 photographers maybe that like toughed it out, and it was
Did you have just like garbage bags or
I have everything. I'm like equipped now. It's like all the like camera covers, poncho, little like wipe so I can like wipe my lenses quickly and like because I've been at a couple rain shows like that are really but the true test of whether everything is like well like sealed and just plastic and covered and protected is Gwar.
I've heard that. I saw pictures of Tom and Ryan after Gwar, and Tom was red.
Yes,
head
I've
to
seen
toe.
that photo. I've seen it. They did it 2 days, I think, before us.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, we're prepared. And I've never seen anything like it.
What venue was it at?
Corona. Beanfields. Which they had covered because it's like an old, like, historical building.
Yeah.
So they had covered all the sites, the balconies, the floor, like everything was tarped up. Just to like protect from that.
God.
And they had signs on the entrance that say like it's like basically food dye or something with water. So it's like they were saying like, okay, rinse it off, it's gonna be fine. Like I think it can even if it gets in your contacts, rinse them. Like they had like a little disclaimer basically for I guess if anyone goes to Gorsh and doesn't know what they're getting into.
Yeah, exactly.
But it was something. It was just like it was a tiny pit where many people, so you also kind of had nowhere to go. And for me, like I had studied, I looked at the videos to know what's gonna happen, where I should be, at what point. And I ended up like when they really started spraying big time, I was stuck somewhere where like I couldn't move because I was either getting crowd surfers or like losing my spot and heading all the way. So I was kind of just like, and it was like cold and it was like we're all pink. Like I found. My shoes got completely, I have like light pink shoes, they were dark pink shoes by the end of it, and I feel like I found dye in like places that you should not find dye. Like when I got home, like just it got everywhere. Even though I had a poncho, I had all the things. I took an Uber home and I looked like a serial killer, like because it was just like blood like splattered everywhere. And I know my poncho and one of my camera sleeves, I was good to like rinse out and like.
Oh no.
And when I went to John Summit, which was 6 months after. Like, it wasn't that close in
Yeah.
time. I wore the same hat, and it rained. I put it on the table, and there was, like, pink little drops on the table
Oh,
because I had
no.
bled into the hat, which was like, oh my god. Like, it's little souvenirs I'm finding everywhere. But that was, I think, one of the craziest shows that's, like, I don't listen to their music. That's not necessarily
Yep.
my vibe.
They're not very pop.
No, they're definitely not pop. But it was something. Like, we walked out of there, it was like such like adrenaline of like, oh my god, that just happened. We're all covered in like pink goo, and like it was so fun.
Oh my god.
So fun. That was a good one.
I haven't experienced. I don't think I've experienced anything where I've gotten something thrown on me from the artist yet. It'll happen. I'm looking forward to it. But
usually it's more the crowd than the artist, for sure.
Yeah,
like,
that's true.
I mean, case in point, last night.
Yeah,
exactly. That will happen often, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I haven't had any crazy show experiences. When at the Ice Cube concert, there was a fight before the show even started. And as we were leaving the venue, we heard security going in to get a girl that was getting punched because she was holding a sign in front of people's views. But she was in like the middle of the crowd, in the very like not in the very front, but like far enough so that security couldn't just take her out.
Yeah.
And she was just getting beat up.
I mean, if you have a sign, like, people with signs at shows, I'm like, they're fun to photograph, but, like, if you're in front of me, like, I'm in the crowd just trying to enjoy, and you have a freaking sign in front, like, you deserve to be punched. I'm sorry. If you're blocking my view, like, I have very, very little chill. It's like, be mindful of other concert goers.
That's totally
like,
fair.
Unless it's a tiny sign, it's, like, from time to time, that's fine, but sometimes the, like, big ass that's, like, 10 people behind you can't see, it's like, no. They deserve to be punched.
Last year I shot Monday Night Raw, like WWE at the Bell Center, and there were signs, there were people. I had to shoot for my seat.
Ooh.
That's the stipulation they give you. I had a pretty good seat.
Okay.
But it was on the side of the TV cameras, so all the wrestlers were looking towards this way and stuff.
Okay.
I made the mistake of getting a 2x extender for my 70 to 200.
Okay.
Which made
Too much?
it went from a 2.8 to a 5.6. So it was a little rough, and even though it's like TV lights, it's not the greatest lighting.
Extenders is very hit or miss, I find.
Yeah.
Like, I've tried a 2X, I think, or I tried a 1.4 Sigma once, didn't like it. And now I have the Canon 1.4, and I'm like, okay, that one I can... Except when you put it on, like, a mirrorless, it's fucking hysterical, because you have the mirrorless, the adapter, the extender, and then the lens, and it's like, you stack them up, and I did that at Oshiega for Smashing Pumpkins, because they put us at soundboard, so I was like, okay, I got the... And I just showed up with, like, my little stack of things, and I'm like, what the fuck? It's like, your sensor from, like, the back of your lens, like this much really between them, but it's like,
crazy.
It's fun. It's like, it's a little stack. But yeah, they're hit or miss. I find even with the best of lights, like can be a little iffy. Sometimes you're zooming, you're like, oh, I don't like what I'm seeing.
Yeah,
like
exactly.
Yeah.
I found that the Sigma 150 to 600 for like range. I even shot like next to the stage in a photo pit for no effects with that.
Yeah.
And like it was like a T stage. So like I went all the way down, and like I was shooting at like 150, 200. I was still getting nice shots, nice portraits.
Yeah. It's the same as if you had a 7200 to the max at the end of the day. Like,
exactly. It works really well, and like that's like the sharpest lens I have. It's just huge, and there's like no real need for it unless like you're at a festival or you're shooting animals or something.
I know. That was the thing for me. The 100-400. I used to last year. I would rent it a lot. Because there was one period where I think I had Pink and maybe Olivia Rodrigo. I had a couple back-to-back that was always coming back to the store. Be like, hey, it's me. I'm coming to rent it. And it's like, after a while, you've rented it so much. It's like, okay, I guess it's time to get one.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's one of those. It's like, you don't need it often, but when you need it, it makes so much difference.
It's so nice to have what's the rather have it than not need it, than need it than not have it.
Exactly.
Definitely, the zoom lenses make the difference.
Yeah.
And I haven't been like told to shoot from soundboard yet at any show that I've shot.
Lucky.
And no, I'm pissed because I want to use it.
I get that, but soundboard shoots, it's like when I see like soundboard on the restrictions, I'm like, ugh, because you're like basically you're all like in a little line, and you all get your stepping stool, and you like set, and so you're in one spot the whole time. And even if you were to like switch, it's like it's the length of the soundboard. It's like, I don't know, 3-4 meters or something.
Yeah.
So it's like you're not getting angles, so it gets really boring really quickly unless they're like moving around and have like a shit ton of pyro. Like it gets really redundant, I find. So it's harder to be creative, also to find those weird angles that you'll find in the pit. And everyone's gonna have the same shots. Then it comes down to like editing, because everyone's like the same. It's like who gets the fun moments, the wink, the whatever that no one will have seen.
Yeah.
But y'all end up with the same shots. So for me, it's like a soundboard. I'm like there are bands. It's like I'd still rather shoot them soundboard than not shoot them at all. But
Yeah.
it's not a treat. It's
What-
like, you know.
What venues usually give you soundboard?
So it'll be Bell Center for
Yeah.
sure, Place Bell, like the arenas, like especially when they're like, it's more like aging bands usually, where they don't want, because you're so far back and a bit higher up, the angle gets more flattering.
Yeah.
So it's still like I've shot like Rod Stewart, Lionel Richie from Sound. Well, I mean, Lionel Richie still looks great, but like they'll do, but they're still, they're a bit older than they were.
Did you shoot Billy Idol?
No, because
No.
that was during Lasso, maybe. I think that one might have been Pit actually. Not sure.
No, it was Lasso.
It was during
It was
Lasso,
Lasso,
I remember.
yeah.
I remember it was during Lasso. But yeah, exactly. It's that like generation of like bands that are now like aging and will put you all the way in the back, or the ones that want a bit more control. So like Olivia Rodrigo, she looks fucking great. It's like, and you're all the way in the back of the venue. So it's usually big shows. Like usually the arenas, festivals, sometimes. And then like the club shows, I'm telling us, it will happen like once in a blue moon. Same thing. Either they're old or they don't. They have like a big production and they don't want you in the pit. That's one reason too. Like at big shows, like if they have like pyro, things like that.
Yeah,
they'll put
that
you on the
makes
soundboard
sense.
'cause
Yeah.
hazard. It's more like the sparklers and like fireworks type. Like the fire. I mean, we had fire last night and they kept us in. But it's more. Yeah,
It's a huge
like
pit though.
It was a big pit. It was
Yeah.
a big pit, and there wasn't that much fire.
No, it was weird fire too. It was like super dark orange.
Oh, that's
like,
that's normally how it is, because it's like a gasoline. Someone was asking if there's like little drops that fly off of it, because it's like it's a gasoline machine. Like you can see the 4 canisters. And it's just like spraying. It's like, so that's why it looks weird. It's not like an actual, like, I mean, it is fire, but I guess like a wood like campfire or something.
Yeah,
like, that's why the
that's
flames
fair.
look different. But that's usually why they'll put you in the back. Or just like a weird thing. They don't want photographers in their face. Like it will happen to you like that. A bit more ego diva driven, and they'll put you in the back. But those are face wars very often, like, or every show was soundboard.
Yeah.
Now I feel like it's stopping a little bit, and we're back in pits, which is nice. Because I find the pit is just more fun. You're closer to the fan. You're closer to the action. Like it's just it's different perspective.
Yeah, I shot a lot at more so the end of last year, and I was waiting for it, and it never came. But some shows I kind of like wish I shot from the soundboard. There was one where I shot from the crowd for the Pineapple Thief.
Okay.
And there was 2 photographers, and I think it was Beanfield's house photographer or something.
Yeah.
He's an older gentleman. And he might have been with the band too.
Yeah,
but,
I think so, because it's a woman that does
okay.
film mostly. Yeah.
So like, yeah, he was the only one that was allowed in to the pit. There was only one photographer allowed, but I got to shoot from the crowd, which was actually pretty nice.
Especially Beanfield, because the floor is like slanted.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
You get a view from like wherever. It depends how sold out it is. When it's packed, it's like it can be annoying. But if it didn't sell out completely, like you can kind of weave through, and it's feasible.
Yeah,
for
exactly. Sure. Especially, I'm a pretty tall guy.
Yeah,
and
same.
So like
it's hard to make yourself discreet and just like snake through. Like you have to push people.
But like holding it like up, we definitely have an advantage as tall people.
For sure. Yes.
Like I was told at like all the festivals this summer to bring a step stool, and I didn't. But like the shots were pretty good. Like Sam Hunt during Lasso, it got a little rough because I was pretty far back.
Yeah.
But still, like they were good enough shots. I mean, Sam Hunt's people approved them, so they must
Nice.
they were something, you know.
Yeah,
Um,
for sure.
And-
Yeah, his team was easy with the approval. They were pretty good. Same for me. I think they approved everything, maybe one or two, but
Yeah.
yeah. But from crowd, yeah, no, I have friends that shoot from the crowd all the festivals. It's like, yeah, if you're like short, like 5 feet
Yeah.
or something, it's like it's good to have a stepping stool. But for me, back in the day, like I just had a monopod, so that worst case, I have a monopod that goes like taller than me. So if anything, you can always use the screen and like
that's
get
smart.
a little bit
Yeah.
of height. But also just the lugging it around. I find it's dangerous within a crowd to like
Yeah,
have
100%.
a like youngest push, always fall. Like it's and you piss off people behind you. Like it's if you can avoid it, I think it's for sure
Yeah,
better.
exactly. I like at those festivals there are lockers, which I appreciated.
Mm-hmm.
So like next year I might take one, put it in the locker for
Yeah,
the
headliners.
for the headliners if I can't get close enough,
Yeah.
because I really want to shoot Jelly Roll hopefully twice
Yeah.
this year.
Yeah.
That's what I'm betting on. But if I don't get the show at the Bell Center or Place Bell or wherever it is,
Yeah.
then I'll shoot them at Lasso. But
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, and it's hard these days now with the festivals and the way the like crowds are like set up and divided. It's like it used to be, because now there's like platinum in the front, gold on the side, I think, and like GA in the back. And there used to be a little pocket there that you could go on the left. That was front left, very left, but still to the front. And if you're shooting from crowd, it's super easy to shoot there.
yeah.
But now they've made those like sections for tickets for fans to like get closer to the action, whatever. So you can't go there anymore as a photographer, which is like, it makes it hard. Like to shoot from crowd. When I did it, because I did it for like a few years before getting pit access. I think I did it for 3 or 4 different Oshegas, something like that. And
Okay.
now I shoot from the pit, so pit is like easy. It's a dream. You just roll up and it's great. But it was easier before, and now they've like redone the layouts a bit differently.
Yeah.
That those little like secret pockets that only you could access by going like through the outside in front of the stage, and like they don't exist anymore. So now it's like you gotta rough it with the crowd, which is like I have a lot of respect for people that do it, because I don't know that would have the energy and
Yeah.
the stamina to do it
100%.
anymore. It's a lot for sure.
So last question before we kind
Yeah.
of finish up. What are your goals with photography, concert photography or regular photography?
Yeah. Oh, that's a fun one. Cause so one thing about me, so photography, I only do music photography.
Yeah.
I don't do product. I have a couple corporate gigs here and there, but I'm not a full-time photographer.
Mm-hmm.
I have a job. I work in marketing and tech. I went to university to study business, so I've been working for 10 years in marketing. So I have my lofty little salary and lifestyle and benefits, which
Yeah.
make it, it pays for the rent, it pays for the lenses, which is fun.
Yeah.
So for me, photography is very much a hobby. Like it's a side gig, which has started to make money over the past couple of years through like a couple of contracts here and there. But I'm not trying to go full time, just knowing to get the standard of living that I have right now with photography, I'd have to either work nonstop
Yeah.
or like take gigs that I don't want to take, like the corporate or the product or the things that I don't enjoy. Like for me, it's music.
Yeah,
It's always been
100%.
music. So in terms of goals, for me, it's just like have fun and like make good memories. And I've like crossed off a lot of things on my bucket list. Is the other things
That's
of
it.
like big festivals, favorite artists, stadiums, other countries, whatnot. I don't want to go on tour. I'm like I am too like when I travel, I like to go in a nice hotel. Like I don't want to sleep in a van. Like it's not like a lot of people. I know it's an active goal when you're doing this. Of
Yeah.
like I want to tour with artists. I want to do so. Not really. Like work more with artists obviously is fun because you get more access, you get more time than like
Yeah.
the first 3. Get better at video is a goal for sure because now more and more people are looking for those hybrid shooters that can do both. But yeah, I think my main goal is like I've struggled like to find the line between my day job and photography where I used to like shoot everything and then be completely exhausted and burned out, and now I'm trying to like find the right balance of like I'll get the shows that I really want to, not just as shows for the sake of getting shows and doing out there. Like
Yeah.
it's fun to like get the nice discoveries, but yeah, there's only so many hours in a day and like sleep is important.
Sleep is important.
So yeah, I think goals is just like I'm here for the vibes. I'm here for fun, like good memories, get good shots. I've been playing with GIFs, that's been fun. Do more video, but I feel like I'm in a good space right now. It's like I'm getting a lot of the gigs I want to. I'm starting to make enough money that it's a nice like side income, but I'm not trying to like push it further. It's like I'm comfortable. I think that, yeah, my
That's
goal is
it.
to have fun, and like I've made so many friends over the years. You know, it's like so many fun memories and like good opportunities, and it's just keep it that way. You know, like have a good time. I think
Yeah,
is my number one goal
exactly.
this year.
That's sick.
What about you? What are your goals?
I'd like to go on tour once
Nice.
just to feel it, but I am trying to be right now, especially full time in media. I'm not a good content creator. Like I'm not going to be on TikTok anytime soon or anything like that.
Come with me, get ready with
Yeah.
me to go show. Yeah, no, fuck that.
I'm a cook by trade, or by like I'm a trained cook. I cooked.
Nice.
I was in kitchens for 8 years.
Wow, okay.
But photography is kind of where I want to go with it.
Yeah.
Music videos is like kind of what I'm aiming for.
Mm-hmm.
But I also am getting into short films
Nice.
and documentaries, and I really want to travel. I've never been out of the continent. I've been to the
wow.
States, but not
Okay.
since like 2007.
Wow, okay.
And I used to live in Jasper, Alberta, and Tofino, BC, and I went between those two towns for 6 or 7 years.
Okay.
And one's like a ski town, and the other one is on the Pacific Ocean,
Right.
and it's a surf town.
Right.
And all you see is just transient people going throughout there, and
Yeah.
that's kind of I do want to travel a bit, and my goal is to get a year-long visa to New Zealand.
Ooh,
That's
nice.
like the first main goal that I want to achieve.
Nice.
Unfortunately, they have an age limit, and I'm getting there, and my partner's getting there.
Yeah.
So it's like 35. So like
Okay.
we have some time. Like
Yeah.
my partner's 30 next week, and I'm 28. So like
Mhm.
we have some time, but like it's getting close.
It'll creep up faster than you know.
Yeah,
for
exactly.
Sure. I get that. Nice.
All right. Well, thanks for joining me today because Ryan, Tom, and Matt didn't want to do this with me at all. Thanks, guys. I really appreciate it.
You got me instead, so it's all good. Thanks
We
for
like her
having
better.
me. There you go.
All your heads are spinning above us right now. Don't worry, I'm doing it.
Nice. Love it.
All right, guys. Thanks for watching.
Bye.